So here's a question. What is it that determines whether someone reaches their potential, goes that extra mile in terms of their own growth and development? Now that's a question that challenges new managers and seasoned executives alike, echoes through the heads of coaches as they watch a gifted athlete underperform, and keeps parents up at night. Greetings. My name is Peter Jensen, and I work with people who try to achieve their potential every single day, Olympic athletes. What motivates them? What drives them? The odds on making the Olympic team? I don't think so. The odds are overwhelming. You'd never start if you figured the odds out. And certainly not the fun of muscle pain and endurance and all of those things that come from heavy training loads. See, when you look at potential, traditionally, there have been two factors identified as being critical to potential: nature and nurture. And these have long been debated in the social sciences. What is more important, the genetic gifts that you come into the world with, or your upbringing, the way you were raised? What was shaped and manipulated and formed in you when your personality was developing? Now, my mentor, Kazimir Dombrowski, brought in a third factor. He didn't debate the merits of nature and nurture, said they were both important, but he said, really, we're missing the point, certainly in terms of human potential. We're missing the point here. The third factor is the most critical factor. What's the third factor? Well, the third factor is the role that the person plays in their own growth and development. The autonomous role that they play that often transcends what they are given in terms of their nature, and certainly can transcend the way they have been raised, their upbringing. And when you look at people who have evolved to very high levels, people like Nelson Mandela, people like Helen Keller, people like Alexander Solzhenitsyn, what you see, of course, is that they engaged in their own development. Nelson Mandela came out of a prison on Robben Island, not with more parenting and certainly with not any better genetics, and yet at a much higher level of development. No anger, no resentment, no hostility. How did he get there? Dombrowski said that in the genetic package that people are given are 5 what he called overexcitabilities: sensual, psychomotor, intellectual, emotional, and imaginational. And he said the most important factors in terms of fueling third factor, in terms of this person transcending and moving beyond, are emotion and imagination. Yes, intellect can be an assist, but it does not determine where you end up. Emotion is very much the fast track to the brain, in the sense that it is not often until you are totally upset with something that you begin to move away from what you would like to be less like you towards what you'd like to be more like you, that you move away from what is to what ought to be. I work with elite athletes. I tell them all the time, beneath every emotion, disappointment, anger, resentment, whatever emotion, what's beneath it? The energy to transform. What is the emotion telling you? You're having a setback. You're not there yet. Not that you're not going to get there. Now, if emotion is a push out of something, then imagination is a pull towards something, what is possible. A realization is just that. Something becomes real for you. You cannot do things you can't imagine. Until you can see it, you can't do it. And so emotion and imagination are very much the fuel, the key factors in the development of third factor, that desire of others to get better, to be the very best that they can be. So let's suppose you're a parent, or a teacher, or a coach, or a manager. What does this mean for you? Well, it means, first of all, that you don't fear emotion. That when emotion comes up, you use it, you channel it, you move it in the direction that fuels where they need to go. You don't see it as an obstacle, you see it as an ally. And you better be able to paint incredibly clear pictures of what constitutes a good performance and a path so that people can see it's possible. Now, there are many things that you need to be able to do if you are going to ignite in this other person their desire to get better, their desire to engage their third factor and move to the next level. You're going to have to manage yourself. Well, why is that so important? Well, because people cannot spend time adjusting to you and moving to high performance at the same time. They can't use up a ton of energy adjusting to your emotional wake. You need to manage yourself. John Wooden put it this way: manage yourself so others won't have to. The second thing you're going to have to be able to do is build trust. Trust is critical. And it's incredibly important in the development of high performance because you're going to run into contentious issues. You're going to run into very difficult things when you are challenging, when you are trying to move forward. And in order to deal with those things, it is a lot easier to do so when trust is present. And trust is not about pixie dust, and it's not about likability. It's about them knowing that you are competent and that you aren't going to put them in positions where they're going to have devastating setbacks or failures. You know where they're at, and you are able to develop some progression so they can see how they are going to move forward. Now, you're also going to have to be able to paint clear pictures for a lot of other reasons. Debbie Muir put it this way: the meaning of the communication is the response you get. If I say go left and everybody goes right, what pictures did I create in the heads of those performers? When you're moving to high performance, you're going to run into blocks. Many times our natural tendency when someone is blocked is to imply or say out loud, they got to work harder, they got to push themselves. They need more self-discipline. When in fact, that's often not the problem. Lao Tse captured this beautifully years ago when he said, what's in the way is the way. Boy, how many times that wonderful expression has informed me. What's in the way is the way. Uncover the block and work through that. That's the key in developing other people. Now, when you are reaching for high performance, you are going to run into adversity. It comes with the territory. And so this idea of embracing adversity, even though it sounds trite and it's a popular expression, is exactly true. Adversity can be the very, very best teacher if you let it. And as a leader, when someone is disturbed or upset about what they're going through, that is when you take that emotion and you encourage them to channel that energy into moving out of where they are. How will you feel about this 2-3 months down the road if you have overcome this and you move from here to here? My mother used to say, don't be afraid of falling on your face. It means you're moving forward. Get in touch with it. We're not there yet. There's certain things they need to learn to move forward. But as the leader, as the coach, as the parent, we tap into that and encouraging them to use that to move forward. I encourage you to take on the role of igniting other people, taking some responsibility for their growth and development, moving them towards their potential. It is an incredible mantle to take on, helping other people get better at whatever it is they are doing. Thank you very much for listening.